Hi folks, prepare yourself. Today we're doing a coronavirus update from the view of a firearms manufacturer. Hi folks, Bob from Fusion. Today we're going to go into the what's happening in the firearms industry due to the coronavirus. Also some of the viewpoints that we see from a manufacturing standpoint and what's going on. One thing I'll make perfectly clear right from the beginning is Fusion Firearms is not closing down during this virus at all. We are actually working more hours. We're actually running the machines longer times. We're actually, if people have the proper skills, we're actually looking to hire more people, okay? Because we are very busy, and our manufacturing just continues to grow. We have seen, that being said, have we seen issues in the industry that affect us? Yes, there are issues. I think every manufacturer out there, regardless of what they're manufacturing, will see ups and downs in their supply chain. So that supply chain, again, what is a supply chain for people that don't understand that? Well, Ford does not make the tires on their cars. So if BF Goodrich doesn't ship the tires to Ford, guess what? Ford still can't ship a car. So those type of logistics of supply chain issues will be rampant through the entire nation and the world right now because of the effects of the coronavirus. We like I said, we're still extremely busy. Fusion is a family business. We don't have thousands of employees here, so we don't have a huge head count that we have to try to manage. So, we are very flexible as a business and very strong as a business. So we're going to just continue right through this. Very little effect to Fusion as of health-wise. We've had some people sick, but not with the coronavirus, actually with some other items. So we've had a little bit of shorthandedness here, but we are still just moving forward. What can I see as in the firearms industry itself? Well, we see a lot of activity on the customer base of purchasing firearms and ammunition right now. What can't you find at the stores anymore? You can't find toilet paper, you can't find paper towels, and you can't find ammunition, okay? So those are huge items. You just can't find it anymore, and it's getting harder and harder to get. So there's been quite a rush because of the virus of people buying more firearms and more ammunition from that standpoint. But again, many of the dealers that we're talking to, they're buying basically everything we can produce because they're having supply chain issues from many of their distribution networks. We have gotten notices from several distributors that we supply that they have shut down their warehouses, that they have found too many people sick in their warehouses. So they have shut their warehouses down, again, interrupting the supply chain of getting things out to the dealer network. So that we have seen quite a bit of that. Parts and things of that nature, we manufacture many of the parts here, and we also have a very good vendor base. But again, some of our vendor base is being affected by the virus. And once they find some people getting sick within the vendors or in their companies, they've been shutting things down. So again, we're moving quickly to try to remanufacture certain things here, set up tooling, whatever we have to do to continue to ship the best we can. So we will see some interruptions due to that, or at least some slowing down of certain things. So how do I see it also affecting the firearms industry? If anybody's been up on a lot of the public announcements that have been out there, you'll know many of the major corporations, the huge firearms manufacturers in the United States, have closed down or have gone down to a skeleton crew. So again, that's another negative effect to the supply chain and getting products out to you folks. So again, where does this all stand right now? I think the country's in kind of a hot spot where the virus is continually growing. We're seeing many things get shut down. Many states are shutting down, only necessary movements, to go to get groceries or something. All other activities are being shut down or closed. So, as that progresses, as a country, we've seen more unemployment. We've seen the unemployment spike like never before, which is hugely negative. And we've also seen, economic activity, of course, is slowed to probably, oh my gosh, I couldn't even come up with what levels. I've never seen it slow to this level in my entire lifetime. So again, that's going to have a ripple effect through the economy for months going forward. Even I believe even to the end of the year, Christmas time and things of that nature, even if this starts to subside over the next few months. I'm not all negative about it, though. I mean, I understand people are going to get sick. I understand some people will get better. Some people will pass away, which is sad, and we don't want to see that. But life goes on. And when I look at our country as a whole, we're still strong. I feel very confident in the leadership of this country right now. I think, President Trump is doing a fantastic job. And when I look as a manufacturer and a businessman, basically, or a logistical engineer my entire lifetime, all right, I look at what is going on in the country and the world, and I say to myself, who would I want running this right now, who is currently in politics and in that shell, and who would I want running this to try to bring us through this and make us prosper going out the other side, and get things back on track, so we can all prosper again. And to be honest, I think President Trump is the man to do it. And the reason I say that is, the craziest thing is, any of you that know my past, I was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania. My father was in the Army in Tobyhanna. And after that, we lived in New Jersey. And as I grew up, northern New Jersey, it's upstate. And as I grew up, the Trump family was huge around the metropolitan area, New York City and New Jersey. And, we've seen a lot of ups and downs with construction that the Trump family was doing and things of that nature. It is the casinos that were in Atlantic City, things of that nature, from President Trump's father to him himself taking things over. It was a current event in our area because we were about 50 minutes from New York City, and where we lived out in New Jersey was all farmland. So all the news we didn't have local news stations. We were lucky to have a local radio station at that time. The town I lived in was 1 mile square. And my uncle's farm that I grew up on was, right contingent to where we lived almost. So, our life we basically got most of our information out of New York City. So we heard and saw a lot of what the Trump family was trying to accomplish. And we've seen some failures, and we also seen some great successes. But through all that time, people like President Trump, what they've done is, they had to get their hands dirty. They had to figure out how to keep that construction site going. They had to figure out how to finance it. They had to figure out all the nicks and problems that went on with that job, and how do you overcome those things. And that is one rare attribute to a person that you see anymore, especially in politics. You don't see too many real people in politics, all right? There are some, don't get me wrong, but a huge percentage of politicians I call them plastic people. They really have no true existence to who they really are. But when I look at President Trump, he's true. And he might say things that you don't agree with. He might say things that shock you. He might say things that you don't like because he's a little crude or something. But guess what? That's who he is. And he doesn't candy coat it. He doesn't sugarcoat it. Okay? He's there to do a job. He was hired to do a job. and that man knows what he has to do as being hired to do that job. Same with me as in Fusion Firearms. I am in position of authority in this company, and I know what I must do to carry this on. The day I don't know what to do is the day that I'll walk out the door and be done with it and pass on to someone else. But right now, I know exactly what I have to do. And the people here have all confidence in myself and the group we have here to make it happen. And again, I have that same confidence in President Trump and the people he's putting around him to make this work and get us through all this. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I believe that we are in for some extremely difficult times with the unemployment and the economic conditions and even the health conditions that are going on right now. And then you hear all types of, people, well, we should have done this sooner. We could have done that. The armchair quarterback stuff is just total bullshit. Okay. And President Trump takes that with a grain of salt. I can see it. He also puts his thumb on those people a lot of times, which they deserve it. Because they're not looking at the best interest of the country. They're not looking at the best interest of the people. They're looking at the best interest of their career, or if they can get so many likes on Instagram or Facebook this week or something like that, which again is all totally bullshit and has nothing to do with what job has to be done to bring this country to the point it needs to go to this year. So again, it's huge for people to stick together. It's huge for people to keep their thoughts together, keep their families together, and keep moving forward strong. And again, everybody's not always going to make it the right decision, okay? But when you look at a decision, like I've said in several of my videos, okay, who's always 100% right? Usually no one on the face of this earth. But guess what? If your decision was 80% right, well, guess what? It's 80% goodness. Okay. So again, we just got to keep pushing forward. We got to keep looking logistically at what's going on around us. And that is going to be different from, depending on where you live and the causes and effects of everything on your business. You look at somebody like me as a manufacturer, we can still manufacture something. We can still produce something. So we can still stay in business and keep things going. Restaurants around here, everybody's been forced to close down, which is not a bad thing. There was too many people getting sick because of the virus. Okay. But if you had a restaurant right now, how do you logistically cope with that? You don't have the tools to produce the income you need. So again, economically, those are things that are devastating to a business. Those are things that, you don't ever go to bed one night and think, geez, they're going to close all this down tomorrow. How am I going to make a living? That's something that generally never even goes through a person's head. So again, all these things we really have to keep looking at, and everybody's world is going to be a little different going through all this. But I think positive attitude, I think supporting our leadership, okay, and supporting our leadership to keep carrying us through. And, if we do see them doing something that really negatively affects our type of business or your type of business or your friend's type of business, then you should speak up. You should speak up and say, that decision is going to do X, Y, Z to this sector. Okay. But what I have seen from the administration right now is pretty good. They are really looking at everybody's sector. And I'm telling you right now, unless you are a true businessman and have had rubber to road experience for years, there is absolutely no way that a person would be able to calculate all that's going on in these different sectors. Because the automotive sector is going to be different than the farming sector, than the steel manufacturing sector, to the medical sector, a crazy thing. Here's crazy. Okay, this is something I would never, ever think about myself. Okay, but somewhere out there, our government leadership is thinking about this and planning for this. What is it? Yesterday, my wife reads me this article on our local Sarasota hospital. They're laying people off. They're furloughing people. I'm thinking, we have the biggest health crisis in the entire time of my existence on this earth, and we're laying people off? I couldn't understand. Okay. And then as she read deeper, I started to understand because that the government has made the decision that to shut down, and the medical community to shut down all non-essential services. Okay, non-essential services are there. It's like, well, I was going to have whatever, plastic surgery. Okay, well, that's not essential right now. Well, I was going to have my finger fixed or something. No, that's not essential right now. They're trying to save the hospital's resources for the coronavirus and its effects. So, all this other stuff that was going on is basically pushed off until all this filters out. But again, even in the amount of time I've spent in business, I would have never thought I'd hear layoffs at a hospital. I also have friends that work at different clinics in Florida. They've shut down some of the clinics. Most people in the country and any of the states that have had some quarantine effect, most of the doctor's offices are closed down. You can't go to the doctor. You can only do it over the phone. Okay, so it has changed the way we live. And when we look at all these effects or causes and effects, it's really difficult, for leadership. When you look at all these different sectors, okay, of our population, and how do you consider in a decision all these different sectors? It's extremely difficult. But I do believe that in this time frame that President Trump is going to bring us through this. I really do. So we're going to have more updates on what's going on and its cause and effect to the industry. What I see from me being an armchair quarterback, if you want to call it, and looking at the whole picture and what I see happening. We're going to have a few more updates as we go through. We all, help for continued success for all these businesses that are closed down, that they, once this virus gets over, we're all going to roar back and start really supporting our small businesses. Our art communities. One thing down here in Florida that's been so nice to go to on weekends is art shows, and it's all been closed down. So a lot of people are suffering. So again, if you can still connect with those people, on their Etsy pages or whatever, doing things on the internet, like most people are buying a lot of their things off of Amazon or eBay or from their local grocery store and having it delivered. Okay. Again, that's a different way of life for most people. If I wanted to have a steak tonight, I'd stop at the grocery store on the way home, grab some steaks, and we'd have steaks. Now you gotta think, okay, are they gonna be open? They got restricted hours. If I need certain cleaning things, I'm gonna have it shipped instead of going to the store and risking getting an infection, the virus right now. So again, it's a whole different way of thought, and it does put a lot of pressure on people in different ways, and different people will cope with it in different ways. So again, because of all that, we need strong leadership. We need strong leadership that's gonna bring us through this. And when people see the economic conditions right now with unemployment, I seen a graph, yesterday where it shows the unemployment for over the decades, and then poof, it's like a rocket going up right now. All right, so we have to look at how do we get ourselves back from that, and how do we even use that and use these things as an opportunity, and not an opportunity politically, as I see many people are. Okay, to go and gut somebody. That's not the deal. The real opportunity is how we bring our families forward, how we bring our systems forward, our healthcare systems. What do we learn from all this? It's not to put blame on other people. For what? What does that do? What does that do in a situation like that? Like we're having right now? That doesn't fix anything. It doesn't help us move forward. And again, I'm not saying if somebody makes a poor decision, okay, it's a poor decision. It should be said as a poor decision, and we're going to change it and move forward. But when I see people just setting up ridiculous questions to entrap people, or different different ways that they're throwing spitballs around, it's like, okay, kids, this isn't high school anymore, all right? Or even grammar school for a lot of these people. They're adults. And we should all be looking and focusing, okay, to the same goals. And that's to bring ourselves out of this, get everybody healthy, and then improve the economy and improve our families and our businesses and our communities as we go forward. So, all right, guys, that's enough for today. I'll have more coming up. All right, we're gonna be giving updates. We're gonna try to do them weekly, and I really appreciate everybody that's sticking with us and supporting Fusion through all this. Stay healthy. Our prayers are out for you.